Yo, 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 what's up, party people?
He said, "Party people in the house."
That's right, that's right. Hey, I'm Rich with Operation Bets with Nets. I'm still getting this messed up. There is my partner right there. That's my co-host, Charlie Villarreal with River Chronicles. And today we got a special thing for you guys. Um, I didn't have any of our captains or vets available, and there's one other organization that I partner with. It's called Catfish for Heroes, founded by Tyler Peterson, and great organization, phenomenal people. Our visions are perfectly aligned. So he provided some captains, a captain and a vet. The captain is Johnny Ward, and then his vet was Ross. And so today we're going to let them share their journey, and hopefully Tyler, because he's out there fishing, hopefully he can pop on. He's going to try to get a signal, and he's doing what we do. We fish. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe to the button and subscribe to us. And let's move on. Let's bring these folks in.
Ew.
Woo, look at that. There's four of us.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How y'all doing?
What's going on, Ross? How you doing out there, Ross? Can you hear me?
Oh, just winding down for the evening.
Right
Yeah, I can
on.
hear you.
Hey,
You got me?
first of all, I want to thank you for coming on our podcast. And we didn't have a chance to talk to you beforehand, but we're going to tell you kind of how this works. Is this show is really all about sharing the journey to real therapy. This podcast is hosted by Operation Vets with Nets, co-hosted with River Chronicles. But as these guys already know, and a lot of our followers, a lot of our folks, they know that Catfish for Heroes and Operation Vets with Nets, we're like sister organizations. We look out for each other. We help each other where it needs it. If I have a vet in an area where I have no captains, I reach out to Tyler, and vice versa. Just like we've had, I think Johnny's done a mission for us as well, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, there's my boy Ray Richard. Ray Richard, that man is the king of the James. But hey, welcome, buddy. And so what we're going to talk about today is, hey, Claude, we are going to talk about your journey. I'll let Johnny introduce himself, tell us a little bit about himself, why he does what he does. Then we're going to jump over to you. Let's hear your story. Now you're an Army vet, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm Navy. Charlie was Army.
Yes, sir.
But we'll go ahead and talk about how you found Catfish for Heroes, how your day went from meeting up with Johnny, going out, just share the audience. And we have 5 people here live in YouTube, but we've got people that watch from Facebook and everywhere else. Mm-hmm. But share that day with everybody. So then they know how, they can experience with what you experienced. There may be vets out there that haven't taken an opportunity that Catfish for Heroes or Operation Vets with Nets offers, and they're thinking about it, or they're not sure about it, or they're not aware, but somehow came across the channel. What you say, may help persuade somebody to say, hey, reach out to one of these organizations and they'll take care of you. So, without further ado, let me see if I can do it right. Nope. Okay, there. Wait. Man, I'm going to angle down there to Johnny. Johnny, it's up to you, brother. Introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself and anything else you want.
Cool. Hey guys, name's Johnny Ward. I'm an Air Force active duty guy. I'm stationed out at Langley Air Force Base, Virginia. I've been in about 11 years. I got a family, got 3 sons who absolutely love fishing with myself. I always love to volunteer my time to help vets, since I work with a lot of like older retired guys, and I see them and see that they could use some real therapy. So me and my buddy Sergio found this organization, Catfish for Heroes. We were talking to Tyler, and we decided to join up. This process, he had to vet us and know that we were the real deal that could put people on some fish. And that's how I got started in the organization. Usually I post to my local fishing Facebook groups in the area, and I'll try to find some folks. And just like Rich was saying, like some people are like scared to reach out. I think a lot of people think it's sort of a scam sometimes. When I put a post out there, free fishing, you don't have to bring anything, no money, no gas, just a lunch and some good stories. So I encourage people to reach out. You can put an inquiry out, and really we could find a fisherman anywhere in the States to take you out.
Yep, that's
and,
right.
Yeah, that's really my story. I'm going to be heading to Japan here soon, so I'll be helping vets out there get on some ocean fish. But I'm going to get as many vets out that I can while I'm still here.
Man, that's exciting. My nephew's he's in the Air Force. He's stationed up there in Langley.
Oh, no way.
Yep. So that's cool. Even though he's been there probably 2 years, I've yet to see him. He's always busy. And I'm like, dude, let me come up to Langley from Chesapeake. Let me come up to Langley. Let me take you out to lunch, or let's do dinner, something. Oh, I'm going back home to Jersey to visit mom and dad, or I'm doing this. I'm like, you're killing me. But that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. So that's my story. I'll let Ross introduce himself, and then we can talk about how our day went out on the water.
All right. Yeah. Ross Edwards. It was a pretty crazy day, to be honest. I'd only talked to Johnny through Facebook Messenger.
Stop for a minute. Tell us who you are. Tell us who you are, where you're from. Give us a little background.
Yeah. So Ross Edwards, I grew up here in New Kent County, which is just outside of Richmond, basically between Richmond and Williamsburg. So we have all the fisheries, within 15, 20 minutes. So yeah, probably about a year ago, I started getting back into fishing, and it just kind of scrolling through the local Facebook pages and whatever, and saw Johnny's post, and I was like, man, that sounds like that would be an awesome trip, And I took a chance and messaged him, and it was like, yeah, we'll go next Tuesday. And it was like probably I think around about a week or whatever, but I was like, yeah, that's awesome. So started, seeing what he was about and all the stuff he's been doing, and just had never met but recognized his boat and poles and whatnot from some of his posts, and got out, met him. It's like one of the smoothest introductions I've ever had with anybody. Everything just kind of like we already knew each other basically, and just pretty much got right to it. Jumped in the boat, went out and got some bait, set out some nets, got some shad, hit a few spots, didn't have too much luck, but we just kept at it, and ended up catching my personal best by I think it was maybe 26 something pounds, like that, better than my personal best I had on a blue cat. So it was a tough bite, but it was well worth it in the end. And I'm really grateful that he was able to do that for me.
When did you go out?
I guess it's probably been about a month ago.
Okay, yeah, because I know those fish have been transitioning, slowly moving towards those beds, and the bite is definitely getting tougher.
Yeah, but yeah, no, like I said, it was awesome. I had no idea how it was going to be when the day started, and by the time it ended, I felt like I'd known him forever, and it was just 2 guys out fishing, and it was he really went out of his way to make me feel comfortable, and I really appreciate that.
How do you do that?
Just talking, I think veterans sometimes, I guess, lean toward other veterans as far as being able to find a personal, bond or something they can, kind of share together and kind of work from there. And, like I said, he's been in for over a decade and I've been out for well over a decade. So that was kind of, just seeing how kind of different things were, close to the same age, but, just completely different stories. And, he told me about his move and he seems to be doing great. I feel like he knows what he wants to do. He's doing a great thing with these trips and I hope he keeps up.
Good. That's awesome. You look like you wanted to say something, Johnny.
Oh no, I was going to say before I talk about the day, I didn't know if Ross wanted to tell us about his service or anything. What he did and all that.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, so I was a 92 Foxtrot. It's a fueler. Drove 2,500 gallon, tankers, 5,000 gallon tankers. Deployed from 2006 to 2007, and I got out in 2008. And that's long story short, I guess. I'm not that big of a talker if you can't tell by yet. But
no, that's good. So yeah, so Rich, so whenever I try to find guys, I try to find guys who normally don't go out for catfish or don't have access to a boat on a regular basis. And I try to take them through from the get-go. Normally people go to the store and get worms. They get their bait, they buy it at the store and go out fishing. But I always try to take them through the whole experience. I got a 100-foot gill net, so I'll show them how to go out and lay that. So we lay that, we'll let it sit for a little bit. We'll do, a couple circles around, school the fish up in there. That way they get to see the process of catching live bait, using what the fish eat every single day.
I used a gill net for the first time last week during
no way.
Ray's trip. Like I was telling you, never been on the James before. Yeah. I'm a lake guy, and I'm only an hour and a half from the James, and I'm thinking when I think the James River, where the James River Bridge is, how wide that body of water is, and all the shipping and everything. That's why I thought the whole river was. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, the tankers and all this and all that, blah, blah, blah. I said, I've been avoiding James, and I hear all these horror stories from the James, even though it's probably the best fishery on the East Coast. And so with Ray, one of my teammates, Richard Ray, he started a tournament series up there. And so me and one of my captains, Walter, he said, hey, you want to fish the tournament? Absolutely. So we went up there, and I said, okay. And so where most people on the James, most of the time they're anchor fishing, we were dragging weights. And so, but it was I'm like, man, Gaston is bigger than this. I said, well, this is only one section. But still, I was able to start, hey, that looks like a good point. And so anyway, he goes, well, we're going to catch he has a 50-foot gill net. We went right out from deep bottom, put it out. And he says, all right, here's how we're going to do it. And I said, okay. We got it all set. Then we start doing the circles, making them smaller, kind of corralling them in there. Got our bait, and then off we went. What a blast. It truly was a blast. But I'll talk more about that later. So go ahead, continue on.
Yeah, so we'll get the bait. I think we had around 10 fresh shad, so we decided to head on out. And so we went out of the Chick, but then we went out into the James, and it's a little bit wider than where you were fishing upriver down that area. And it's smooth water. I think when we went out in the morning, it was like glass. And we were trying. And at this point, this is when the big ones were starting to head upriver following the shad run up. So we were having a tough day. We couldn't get a bite to save our lives out there.
Were you anchored? Were you anchoring, or were you dragging weights?
I always anchor fish. Yeah, I always anchor.
I'm new to all that anchoring stuff.
Yeah, and so we were heading back towards the Chick, and we hit some bad weather, boy. We were hitting some pretty big waves out there. It got really rough, and Ross, he never experienced it, but that James is a beast, and it can change in a matter of and like a half hour, that water was ripping. We're talking like 2 foot swells.
That's what was keeping me out of the James.
Yeah, and like, you know, I only have a 16-foot John boat. I mean, it held its own, but man, we were Ross was probably feeling it the next day. And yeah, we went back to the chick. It was probably 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at this point. Like we were almost gonna be heading in within the hour. And I saw that one rod just we were fishing at this point in 60 foot of water. So we tried all the shallow stuff. It wasn't working out. So we went to the deep. And I saw that he wasn't looking at it, but I saw the rod start to go, and I was like, Ross, get the rod, and it just hammered, and he was reeling it in, and then he didn't think it was that big of a fish. That's because it was in 60 foot of water, so you know it was way down there, and then we started seeing the air bubbles as he was bringing it up, like coming along, and I was like, oh, this is a decent fish, and he got it up, and that's when it saw us, and it started to hammer back down. And he's like, oh, no, he was loving it, man. I was loving the smile on his face. I got it all on video. I'm sure you guys have seen the reel. If you haven't, make sure you go to my Facebook and check it out. It's a really good reel.
While you're doing that, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to pull it up, see if I can show it.
Yeah, of course. It's a good video. You can see him reeling that thing in, and oh man, his face was like priceless. It was amazing. I think it was a 33 or 34 pounds, if I remember correctly. It was on the video, and it felt and looked a lot bigger than 30 some pounds.
Yeah,
and
sure.
yeah, that was the only fish we caught that day. But man, we waited all day for that big one.
Yep, it was worth it.
That is awesome. All right, I'm trying to log on to Facebook.
And then yeah, we exchanged war stories all day, and we just had like Ross said, it felt like we had known each other for a pretty long time.
Oh man, I can't log on to Facebook. Darn. All right. Well, man, I was
Technology.
It is. I haven't used this computer in a while, this laptop. So it doesn't have in my login. I can't remember my password. I'd have to go check something else. But
you can always share it later if you'd like.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, look under Johnny Ward because I know I saw it, and then Charlie can actually share it out. Share it.
Yeah.
So, hey, okay. Hey, there's Wet out there. Wet Outdoor Gear. Let me tell you. It's an awesome company. Yeah, awesome company. Matter of fact, I just pulled my hoodie out when those pre-released ones. I had to
They're
clean.
nice, right?
Oh man, they're so comfortable. I still got it in my suitcase. I haven't even unpacked yet. But you know, think about why Charlie's looking. Wet. What's that stand for? Time. And you know what? When you put that spend time in the water, you're putting in that effort to learn your craft, and you're spending that time out there, you're going to be an awesome angler. Love their thought process behind there. Hey, Ashley, what's going on? There's our boy, Bill Journey. Let's see who else is out here so we can say hello to folks while Charlie's pulling it up. All right. So we got Bill Journey. My man is, Ray's my man, Johnny the Slayer. Hey, what's right? You got Jennifer Ward out there. Hey, Jen. You got Ashley. Got Bill Journey. He said, sorry, I'm late. Hey, dude, you're never late. You're always on time. We got Bill Kenny out there. And
hey,
both organizations, Operation Vets with Nets and Catfish for Heroes, have both taken out Bill. And then you got my Texas state captain out there, Juan. He's out there. Claude, Chris. Hey, my team's starting to show up. Hey, awesome. So
while he's pulling that up, I'll tell you, I have a trip since I sort of live near Chesapeake. I live right on the HRBT, and we got a unique opportunity with all this inshore getting hot. I'm taking out 2 Navy vets tomorrow for some reds and cow nose rays. I love catching those things. Those I'd say would almost put up a good of this fight as a blue cat.
I found it, Rich. I'm not sure how to share it though.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can walk you through. And I'm feeling out of place now, so here we go. There's mine. Okay.
This is the one you're talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So on the bottom, Charlie, you should see where it says mute, stop cam, settings, present.
We're on here.
Yeah. On the bottom, you should see mute, stop cam, settings, present. Hit present, and then
No, I don't have that. I have mute, stop, settings, and invite. That's all. The
that's
product says
weird.
you're the originator.
Okay.
Hold on, let me send it to you on your. I'm gonna send it to you on your Facebook, and then you go from there.
Well, see, I could pull it up on my Facebook if I can access my Facebook. Hold on a minute, then.
Technology. Don't you love technology?
Yeah, let me check my.
Yeah, it doesn't give me that option. It's weird.
Oh, okay. I've got to find out why. All right. So let me look for Facebook. See if I got on my iPhone. All right. I'm going to try to log on again. Give me 1 minute.
Oh, I know why it doesn't let me. Because my
Why?
Facebook's not on here, only my YouTube.
Okay. All right. So let me see here. Let me see.
Buck Reynolds. Buck Reynolds.
Hey, Rich, did you hear about what I was telling you about tomorrow?
Yeah, you got 2 vets?
Yeah, I just want to make sure you heard that. They're Navy. I knew you'd like that.
That's what I'm saying. All right, I'm logging on the Facebook. Yeah, I'll be out tomorrow with a Navy vet as well tomorrow evening. All right, so let me see here. Let me go to Johnny Ward.
And Rich, I ain't forgot. I still got these I got to send to you.
Oh, yeah.
Just by the time I get out of work, that post office is closed.
Oh, no, I hear you, brother. You take your time. I'm not sweating it. A matter of fact, you remember Tony from that one podcast? That's who I'm taking out tomorrow.
Nice.
All right, so let me see here. Let me go. There's photos. So I guess you see it under photos.
It should be under Reels.
Reels. Okay. Hold on here. Reels. Okay. There. I think this is it. So hold on here. Yep. All right, guys. I'm going to present and show you this. All right. Let's see here. Present. Share screen. Screen share. And we're going to go with Facebook. Okay, there we go. Share. All right, so here we go. You guys see that?
Yep.
It's awesome meeting you, man. On behalf of Catfish for Heroes, we appreciate your service. These are like little names.
Yeah, out of my mind, I'm out of they line and boxes. Didn't think I'd come back home like I lost it. I'm kind of shocked. Gotta get up, enough is enough. Know it's on when we back in the spot. All that I got. I said we back.
That is. Hold on here. Man, that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. So Ross, tell us how Tell it was to catch that nice fishy there.
It was awesome. I haven't, like I said, I've never caught anything nearly that big before. And I'm mainly just bass fish. So, just the different fighting between a bass and, a nice bass and a big catfish. It's completely different as well. But it was just, it felt like it was taking forever. I was like, what's going on? And then finally when it came and we first saw it, I was like, holy crap. Like that is a giant,
I was like, let me put my phone down and grab the net.
Yeah. But yeah, it was awesome. Just, I didn't even know what to do with a fish that big. I'd never caught one, so I didn't know how to hold it or anything. He was like, he had one glove and it was like all I could do to get my hand in there. But he was like, you're going to want that glove.
Oh, yes, indeed.
But,
yes, indeed. I got more scars on my hands and scrapes from what you think catfish don't have teeth. I'm going to tell you what, it's like 50 grit sandpaper. Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, it was awesome. I thought we were going to, looking at all his posts and his pictures and everything, I thought we'd have a good day, but just, like I said, never have done it. And finally, like putting my hands on something that big, I was like, this is crazy. Like, I can't imagine catching these, 80-pound, 100-pound catfish that have came out of the James and stuff like that. That just kind of blows my mind in a way.
Well, I'm hoping to get on one of those tomorrow. I'm going out. I mean, I'm taking our vet Tony Cook out, but also I'm going more as an educational thing for me. I'm putting the wheelchair boat in there for the first time.
Nice.
And Ross, if you find me on Facebook, add me as a friend. You'll see that, or go to Operation Vetsman. You'll see that wheelchair boat we spent 8 months building, and it's a 26-foot tri-tune, and we just had to have it repowered. New motor. We got power poles on there. So all my brothers up there in the James, they got these little John boats and stuff like that, and I'm like, I said that would kill my back. I'm 100% disabled, and most of it's because of my back. I'm like, oh my God, how the heck? But you know what? Guys like Ronnie Johnson, like Richard Ray, these guys, you know what? And I guarantee you, Johnny as well. You got that little 6-foot John boat. You can get in 6 inches of water. So when you're hitting those shallows, man, you get those big pigs. Yeah. So, but I could probably comfortably. I think we're gonna have like 5 or 6 people on the boat tomorrow night. So I'm hoping that we can still get up into 2-3 foot of water. If that, I'm gonna just leave it up to Ronnie to hey, put the net, let's get the bait. You take me, or here's the steering wheel. You know the water.
Yeah.
Take me where you want to go. So, and I'm looking forward to that. So what else, so you shared, that and I'm glad, John, you mentioned about the video, so we can kind of share that with folks. What else, Ross, about that day just, really put you at ease, provided what we call real therapy?
I mean, just being on the water, any opportunity you get to do something you enjoy, you take full advantage of it. It was something new, but it was something familiar, familiar at least in the fishing sense. And it's, I'd kind of gotten away from fishing for a while. And like I said, in about probably the last year or so, just kind of started getting back into it. And it's, it's one of my, moment for myself. It could just kind of brings you peace. It's always, even when you don't get a bite, you get skunked, you still, it's better than not fishing.
See,
it's kind of my
go ahead, Charlie.
my thinking.
I know you want to say something on that and Charlie's theory on that.
No, I'm sorry. What were y'all saying? I was a little bit distracted.
He was talking about even when even if you get skunked, it's just
some of my best trips. Some of my best trips I've been skunked on. because that trip started a day or two before in the planning and getting everything organized. And I'm a little older, so it depends if I'm bank fishing or on a boat and stuff like that. So I have a checklist, believe it or not, on my computer. I print it out. Okay, I'm on the bank and I'm fishing for catfish, so I need this. And I have a smaller John boat myself. I have a 15-foot Sea Arc that gets everywhere. So all that preparation, I'm getting out there and waking out early from the dinner that I had prior, because I don't want to have a tummy ache when I'm out on the water, right? Just all that journey, that's what makes it to me. So when I go out there, guys, like Rich was saying, is like I have zero expectations about if I'm going to catch anything. So like that, if I don't get upset, I don't get pissed off, I don't get frustrated, I don't go home and take it out on anybody. And if I do, it's like, wow, regardless of the size or the species or whatever, I'm just like so amazed that I managed to catch something in this huge body of water. Right. I think that's just so amazing. And I think we tend to lose focus of that. And yeah, we're out there, with several lines in the water, but still the body of water is way bigger than that little boat trolling across, dragging baits, or you're on the bank and stuff like that. But it's about that journey, man. It's about that experience. It's about who you involved in that experience, people you meet out there. The weather rains on you, you get upset, a little frustrated, or you lose something. And now that I'm a little older, I have a little bit of problem because I don't take my glasses. So when I'm trying to tie knots and feed this through that, I have a hard time, which is kind of funny, but it's part of that journey. And that's what makes it amazing, man. It's I think that's what makes it worthwhile. And then, then again, I don't know if it's because I'm a little older, but eventually everyone sees it like, oh man, you know what? I went out here with my grandkids to this little community pond and we just tore these freaking brim up for 2 hours, and that's what makes memories.
Yep.
Yeah. And
it's definitely a memory I won't forget.
And that's good. And that's the key thing. And that's why I think like folks like Johnny, folks like Charlie, myself, my other captains on here, and there's other folks on here as well. When we do things with the vets and see, I've had a lot of people ask me, because the way Operation Vets with Nets was founded was because it was providing me that real therapy. And then I thought, talking with my VA therapist, thought, well, you know what? If I can do this at a larger scale, I can help others. And then we were doing a news interview, and Bill Kinney was with me on that. And I was asked by Katie Collette from Wavy 10. She asked me, she goes, well, what about you? Do you find it therapeutic? And I told her, I find it more therapeutic when I'm helping somebody else.
Yep.
Trying to find their real therapy. It becomes very therapeutic for me as well. Mm-hmm. And I tend to, I get, and I've had some of my vets were on there, setting me straight. But when we're not on the fish, I don't think I've had a vet on where I got skunked, but we might have only caught one fish, and it was probably, you might as well call them, was that Captain Jordan's or whatever, the fish sticks. It was, I caught one time, I think it barely registered a pound. And I was like, man, and they're like, dude, you have no idea that what this trip is meant to me, and the relaxation. And I had one guy, I will never mention his name, but the night before, he had a bullet in his mouth, or he had a gun in his mouth. And he was ready to end it. And I just happened to text him saying, hey, we still meeting at, 5:30 or whatever it was. And he came out on the trip. And to this day, he's still alive and kicking. Do I think that had anything to do with the trip? I would hope so. But you know what? At least for that day, we got him away from his problems. We got him in God's creation. He's never been catfishing before. Taught him some things, and we had such an awesome time. So I know Johnny can attest to it. That it's as much therapeutic for us captains than it is for what we try to do for you guys.
I'll touch on that. I think I've told my team, Ironside guys, like, and a bunch of my buddies that, like, I'm no guide by any means, but I enjoy taking people out and putting people on fish now more than I enjoy catching fish myself. So it's definitely therapeutic for me as well.
Yep.
And that's why I'm always trying to search. Like, I mean, I'm sure you're part of like the Facebook groups around here for fishing. Like, I'm always making posts trying to find bets to take out because I love it.
Something Steve, Fortune, Steve, great guy. Something Steve says here. He says, there is a moment that occurs on every vet trip where there is suddenly a silent moment and everything just comes out and unloaded right there on the boat. And there is. Either there, and that could be an emotional moment. And it could be, next thing you know, everything's quiet. You're just sitting there, and next thing you know, your rod's buried. But I also think during those quiet times when you're sitting back and you're just relaxing and just watching the reels, watching the land and the water and the birds flying by and everything's quiet, that all of a sudden things change. All of a sudden a conversation starts up. There's so many things that can happen in that moment of silence. So that's a good point. That's an excellent point. And that truly, and sometimes that's truly what, especially if somebody's dealing with PTS or depression, sometimes that's exactly what they need. They need that way to calm their mind, get them away from everything, and just make it a stress-free day. And sometimes that's difficult for us captains because Johnny just said it, and I know everybody else that deals with us the same way is when I'm out on a vet, the only time I want to touch the rods when I make sure that we got a good hook set. And there's times, in 6 hours, we put 30 fish in the boat. It's just nonstop. And they're like, Rich, aren't you going to grab and reel one in? Nope. I can do this anytime I want. Today is all about you. And the time we were done, and it was one other guy. It was just every couple minutes of time we got that rod set and letting that boof and no one's going off. I mean, it was nonstop. And he said by the time his day was over, he says, man, I feel like Popeye. I got them tips from reeling in all those fish. And I would say the lightest fish was probably 17 pounds, and the heaviest one was like 38 pounds. So, and I wasn't reeling in nothing. And he told me, he said, dude, this is going to be a day in my memory for the rest of my life. I said, good.
That's what it's about.
Yep.
And here's another great comment. Fishing rescued me from a bar stool, wasting my life away, not understanding why my life sucked so bad and was getting worse every day. And you know what, brother? You are not the only one. I guarantee you're not the only one that's felt that way. And that's why I think it's so important to, if a vet has never been fishing before, introduce them to something. Introduce them to a new pastime that, hey, you know what? When you need to blow off some steam and decompress, you know what? Go to the bank, throw in a rod, relax.
So Johnny, I got a question for you. So when you took Ross out, right? So when you took him out there, like, what was your expectation of that trip, or what was your goal taking him out there to be? as a captain?
I would always love to get somebody on a fish over 50 pounds. I mean, that's probably my goal. Doesn't always work out. But I think sometimes, like, throughout the day, like if we're not catching anything, I sort of get not irritated, but sort of beat up in my head. I'm like, man, I really want to get this guy on some fish. But then I take a step back. I'm like, does it really matter? Like, we're on the water, it's beautiful out. We're not worrying about anything else but trying to catch a fish, and we're just relaxing. So I set high expectations, but throughout the trip, if they're not met, I'm still happy with the outcome. It doesn't matter whether we catch a fish or not. I always try to have, a blast with whoever I take out and make sure we have awesome conversations. Never let them feel like uncomfortable or anything. I don't try to like pressure them to talk about anything, but if they're willing to open up, then it just starts flowing after a while. That's how I learned so much about Ross that day. And like, that's why in the beginning I was like, Ross, tell us about your career, man. Like, I know so much about it. Like, come on, tell us.
So let me pose that same question to Ross, and I'll point something out to you in just a second, if I don't forget. So Ross, when you knew you were going out with Johnny and he was taking you out, what was your expectation of that trip?
I mean, something new, basically. I was hoping to catch a nice fish, but it was, just happened to be, randomly saw the post, and I was like, yeah, why couldn't it be me? So messaged them, and immediately responded back, yeah, let's go next week. And I was like, all right, cool. And that was enough for me. Just going out, doing something new. I'd never really fished the James there. I've mostly been in the Chickahominy for the last year or so. So it was getting to see something different, and, fishing for a different species also, but just the whole thing, catching bait,
and that,
doing all that.
And that's go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, just the whole day. It was just something new. And, sometimes you got to get uncomfortable to realize that you can be comfortable.
Yeah. That's the thing that, and that's the thing that's awesome about, I think, fishing overall. Like someone just said about they needed to survive and stuff. And if you knew my background, trust me, it's all tattooed all over my body. It's everywhere because I need it. Doesn't matter what I catch. To me, it's the experience of the journey. I could care less what I catch. But Johnny had this expectation, right? Oh, I need to take Ross out there. I need to do this at 50 pound. But he said it himself about not even 10 seconds in. But you know what? Eventually I got to know Ross, and I was trying to learn more about him, and I got to know more about him. I even tried to tell him to talk more about it, right here when we introduced you. But you see how fishing comes down to that relationship and that bond that you build with someone. It's not even about the fish.
Steve
about
said that, building that bond.
Yeah, it's about what you guys were experiencing, what you guys got to learn about. And of course, not everything's going to be shared, but it's what you guys build and you learn about each other. And, there's times that you got to be willing to understand that some people might not even want to go fishing. They just need someone to talk to be there with. And you know what I mean? It happened with Rich, with that gentleman that he was speaking about earlier. It happens all the time. It happens to me all the time. You have no idea how many videos that I have saved up that I can't make videos because the person that I was with said, look, I prefer, I don't want to be out there. And that's great. I respect that 100%. Because sometimes, we do talk about some pretty deep and emotional stuff. And it's weird because it's always never about the fish. Now, don't get me wrong, you catch a freaking 1,000-pounder, then that's freaking awesome. But it's how did you get there? What decisions did you make? What time you got up early? Did you eat breakfast? It's all these little steps that were taken that paint that whole picture for you. And then that whole picture, at the end of the day, depending on where you're at, you're just gonna have a beautiful day, a beautiful week, a beautiful month talking about it, right? And you guys were sitting here with us talking about this awesome journey that you guys had, and how you guys came to be and meet up with one another. And to me personally, right, that means that's what I try to capture in my videos. There's some videos where there's hardly any dialogue, and I'm just showing what's happening. I'm not talking about brands. I might show the bait and stuff, but it's just do what works for you. And I think us as veterans, we do tend to lean on one another more than the civilian world out there because of what we experienced, what we went through, what we lost, what we gained, what we sacrificed. But, there's a lot of heroes out there, not just in the military. And, it's that journey, man. It's that real therapy journey. It's about that journey. Just think about what the word journey, what that means. Just think about it. It's traveling from point A to point B.
And then what's in between? Yep.
There you go. A to B is just a trip. It's in between. That's amazing. And everyone's going to interpret that differently. And I understand that. But it's, I'll tell you really quick. I just took someone fishing out 2-3 weeks ago. If you look at my videos, I hardly ever catch anything because I'm videoing because I love to video and stuff. And we didn't catch anything but 2 catfish, and that gentleman caught 2 catfish. And yesterday, he has 4 kids. And I just met him not too long ago. And he said, hey, Charlie, he was at, I believe it was Shields, and he's like taking pictures of these awesome kayaks, right? And he's like, hey, Charlie, if you had the chance, would you buy a kayak or a jumbo? And I said, well, that's a tough question because you're asking someone else's opinion. I said, but if it were me in your shoes, knowing you have 4 kids, I said the right decision would be a jumbo. Because in a kayak, you cannot take your kids with you. And you want to share or have company, period. And then he goes, you know what? You're right. He goes, I almost dropped $6,000 on this kayak and a scope and a live scope thing. He goes, then I read your message and realized, man, I can't take my kids. It's like, because they're young, if they're older, they can get a kayak and stuff like that. But just having that John boat, yeah, you can add the kids on there and get to some places. And what about the shallow spots where you get off and pull your John boat? That's what I told them. To get a picture in that. There's not that many low spots up here in North Texas, anyways. But and like you said, it's what you want to do with that information and how you interpret it and view things.
Ain't no getting out. Hey, Charlie, ain't no getting out and pulling a rope and pulling this thing through the shallows.
Oh, heck no. No, sir. See, but that's the thing. It's like I've been places where I had boats like that parked at the edge of this river coming out in a lake. And here I come in my little 15-foot John boat, and I pull the outboard up and I grab a trolling board and I zoom on up the river. But they can't do that. But there's a pros and cons, right? Obviously.
Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to be in something like that where I can take 5-6 people out. But unfortunately, mine's only for 4 people, 3, kind of comfortably. But it's what you make with what you got.
That's right.
Oh my God, I've got a video too that I want to work on. But I'm out there fishing, trying to catch catfish, and I'm doing the bumping thing from the bank. And there's a gentleman. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" So I said, "Well, there's a current because the spillway's open." I said, "So I'm throwing a 1-ounce weight with the leader with a little shad bouncing. Caught 3 fish." But he's tearing up these drum up with a little bitty hook just right on the edge. And his wife is catching them with the bottle and the string slinging it from the bottle. I know you guys have seen that, right? They just wrap the line in the bottle and it's like a reel. And I'm like, that's where it's at. And there's no right way, no wrong way. It doesn't matter if you want to catch a 50,000-pound fish or a little sunfish. There's no wrong way. Everyone's a high-level angler in my book. And it's about the journey, guys. And it's I could go on and on and on and on. Like maybe one day, Rich, we could make just a show about their journey, about what it really means, not to us, but about what the journey means. And, in the fishing community, not necessarily, with veterans, but there's so many ways that you can approach it and kind of veer off into it and go into this because we're all unique. We all experience different things and we all learn different things from different people and vice versa. We've learned things on the negative side, what not to do and who not to hang out with and stuff like that. Right. And I think we all learn from whatever it is. And I think that's the best thing out there.
But I think the one thing that, at least for me, is one of the biggest lessons I've learned is stay on the water. keep
That's
fishing.
Right. Water, effort, and time, baby.
Water, effort, and time, man. That's, you know what? That's what it's about. You know, and getting out there, and it's, you know, I showed a picture a minute ago. You know, you got the wheelchair boat. So for almost 9 months, there was no water, no effort, no time, no nada, because the boat was donated and we completely refurbished it and did all kinds of stuff with it. So I had no time for fishing. So that whole winter, and so I had a friend of mine, Cody, he comes to Gaston every year for 6 months. And he said, dude, when was the last time you were out on the water? I'm like, months ago. You're taking a day off and we're going out on my boat. And we went and had a blast. And he did that to me. He took me out twice that winter. And then last year, still doing this, that, and the other thing with the boat. And finally, and then we just, as some people know, the engine was going. So we had to repower and get a brand new motor on there. So finally, this upcoming winter, you know, starting to fall, because summer is mama's time. So I give that to her. So come the fall, that's what it's going to be about. Almost every other weekend. I'm going to have to hope mama gives me a pass so I can be out on the water almost every other weekend. But I still, even so, I still, I did a lot of trips this year with our vets, and which was a blast. But you know, and it's, you know, Charlie mentioned it earlier. It's not about brands. There's some of us, we've got different folks that sponsor us in one way or another, and you know what? That's great. But what is really great, better than anything, is we as captains have the opportunity with the organizations that we belong to give back to our vets, to get them on the water. And you know, and I don't want our civilian captains to feel left out, because you know what? They bring a lot to the table as well. You know, granted, they may not have that connection to that vet like a vet captain would have with the veteran, but a bond is still built. You know, there we got one guy, Evan, didn't serve in the military, but Bill Kinney. You know, he took Bill out doing some bank fishing and stuff, and they have created a huge bond, and that's awesome. So, you know, every captain brings something unique to the table. So I want to make sure, even though a huge part of, at least with, and I'd imagine it's the same way with Catfish for Heroes, a huge amount of our captains are veterans, which is great. But I definitely still want to give credit to those captains that are civilians and didn't serve in the military. Life brought them a different direction, but they still have so much to give with taking our vets out. And that says a lot as well. So that's their service to this country, is by providing for our vets. And I applaud each and every one of them. So we got about, I don't know, about 6 minutes. So, Johnny, anything you want to close out with?
Just, I guess, just to re-hit what I talked about earlier, for folks that are like scared to reach out and don't really know what to expect. I think a lot of people are not scared, but sort of weary of going out on other people's boats. Yeah, skeptical. It's, you know, every captain is vetted and everything. They're not just going to pick some random guy that's went on a boat once. You know, these captains are picked, you know, because they they've shown and they can prove that they know how to operate a boat. They know how to operate, navigate the water to catch the fish. And, just put some trust in them and trust that they'll put you on the fish.
And as we said, and if you don't get on the fish, you don't get on the fish.
Yeah,
but
and exactly.
you're going to build that journey.
Get on some turtles. Them turtles are fine to fight.
Oh my God. What about you, Ross? You've been sitting there all quiet. Earlier we couldn't shut you up. Earlier you wouldn't stop talking. Now you get quiet on us.
Yeah, no, I think the whole experience was really great for me. I think Johnny and obviously y'all putting this whole thing together. I think more people should take interest in programs like this. I never knew anything about it, but now that I do, I understand that it's very helpful. And I think it's a great thing, and it's something a lot of veterans can get on board with, you're just going fishing, at the end of the day, you either catch them or you don't, but it's as simple as throwing a line in the water and, it's just an experience you don't forget.
Right on. And once Johnny heads over to Japan and starts catching all that sushi, man, do not hesitate. If you want to reach back out to see if somebody from Catfish for Heroes has anybody else in the area that could take you out if you want to go back out. If not, reach out to us. We have folks all over the James River area. We'd love to take you out there. And anybody else, that happens to view this video, man, do not hesitate. Reach out. And as Johnny said, there is no catch. Well, hopefully there's a catch in the fish. But hey, people ask me, hey, what do I need to bring? I'll have bottled water. But if you want to bring any snacks or something to eat or your own special protein drink or whatever, bring it. But that's it. You don't need anything else. And I still will have people show up with bass rods. And I said, put that all back in the car. I told you nothing. And they're like, you got everything? I said, I got everything and some. And we just go out and have a good time. That's it. Charlie, any closing remarks, my brother, before we give everybody?
Yeah, I'm the opposite. Whatever you want to bring, you can bring. Got some bass rod, crappie rods, bring them on. And I learned my lesson 2 weeks ago because my son-in-law is like, I got some crappie rods. Should I take it? I'm like, nah. And then I'm all right, just bring them. We caught 6 freaking crappie, nice ones. And then we went gar fishing. But Johnny, you're going back to Japan? Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. I made a video of it too. John, you say you're going back to Japan?
Yeah, me and the family are going to be moving there in September. We'll be there for about 4 years.
So I know someone. We're not like super friends because he lives over there. There's an American that lives over there and does fishing all the time, and I've been talking to him on YouTube. So
yeah,
maybe I can link y'all up and y'all can go do some fishing out there. So he goes with local guides in Japan and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not sure if he was in the service or not. I haven't asked him, but yeah, guys, I mean, first of all, I just want to thank you guys for your time. First of all, for your service. It takes time to set aside to do this. And me and Rich are so truly appreciative that you took time off to do this with us. We appreciate it. And, it's everyone fishes different. It's okay. No matter what you do. We want everyone to know that and that, pay attention to the journey. Look at your surroundings, pay attention to Mother Nature. You'd be surprised what we can learn from her. And, I just thank y'all so much for everything that you guys do. And not just veterans, everyone, like you, civilian people, veterans, anybody involved in the organization. It's come a long way and it's going to go even further.
And for those companies, we do have occasionally companies, brands that are in our industry and they come on and they watch. Thanks for coming on out and checking out the podcast. Everybody, please subscribe. You subscribe, you can go back and listen. You want to hear, even though the last one, Bill Kinney kept dropping out like every 30 seconds. But if you can get through all of that, I'm telling you, because his connection stunk. But very powerful show. We've got a lot of, so go back and review some of these. Like I said, we try to stick to 9 o'clock, and see, we're late already. It's 9:01. So, listen, guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody who got online today to share this journey that Johnny and Ross shared. Thanks for coming and sharing with us, guys. I really appreciate it. And Johnny, we'll definitely have to get together before you head out.
Of course.
We'll get out there on the wheelchair boat, so your back don't get you beat up, and and you can ride the Cadillac, and we'll get on some fish, guys. Thank you. And most importantly, the most important banner I can put up here is good night, and more importantly, God bless, guys. Stay safe.
See you guys.
Thanks for having me.
Tight line.
All right.
That was good.